Shalom, shalom, it's the brother Kadash. I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashemi, Habashai, Bahashem, Rakak, Kodash. Invasion of Haiti? What? Look, man, I'm gonna say this right off the back, right? And this is like a little podcast that I'll be watching, and they're kind of giving out some information. So they're doing good work. They're giving out this information that a lot of people probably don't even know about, right? So it's my job also to spread this information, but put the truth in with it to show you the truth, right? Show you the light. So, they're talking about possible invasion of Haiti, and that's just not gonna work, man. So I'm gonna give you my personal opinion. This is my personal opinion on it. If the U.S. tries to invade Haiti, right? Haiti, which we say are the Levites, have a special, very, very, very special place with the Lord, right? And we know why that is. All of the 12 tribes got their different gifts and it's special in their own ways, right? So we know Judah is like the kings and everything like that. We know that, right? Here, damn. Let me see what's going on. Right? And then we know with the Haitians, Levi is special because of what it goes all the way back to what happened during the time of Moses with the Exodus in the wilderness. They were like the only people to ride for the Lord, just roughly paraphrasing, the only tribe to really stand with the Lord, so they were blessed because of that. And the all different tribes, all the 12 tribes have different like blessings, and we all have blessings together, which is the being the chosen people, which is the people of Israel, right? So they go over there. Let's just say the U.S. go over there and start an invasion. So it says, so it begins. U.S. starts invasion of Haiti with military forces, right? So what they're gonna fuck around and do? See, the U.S. is spreading themselves thin already, but it's the Lord that's doing it. It's like a master chess player. Getting them involved in Ukraine. You know, with NATO, getting them involved with China when China goes and finally invades Taiwan. Then they still got to be there to back up Israel versus Iran. Then they still got to be there to back up South Korea and Japan when North Korea starts dropping off bombs. So it's just like the ancient Roman Empire. They're making the same mistake. They're spreading themselves thin. They're going to be in Valley of Jehoshaphat, right? They're going to be down there too. So they're spreading themselves thin. And if you want to go over there and start fucking with the islands and fucking with Haiti, especially because I believe that the Lord has his hands around them, that's why they had success on fighting off the Edomite man, for the, mostly, and they go over there fucking with them, trying to evade them. I just feel like it's going to be a war and it's going to spill over into the U.S. and that's going to unite the tribes. And then you're going to have something like this that's going to happen. This is Obadiah chapter 1, straight to the point, right? Verse 18. It says, but the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken it. So you got to remember right here where Esau is at, because there are people before there are place, right? So America is where the Edomites have their stronghold. Basra, it is Mystery Babylon in the Bible too, right? This place is going to become stubble, but Jacob's going to be a fire and the house of Joseph a flame. What does that mean? That means that Jacob and the house of Joseph are going to come back together, right? And they're going to be hell on Esau as here in America before the destruction, before the second death, which comes by fire and brimstone. So what's going to unite that? It could be something like this. It very well could be something like this. But we know that Jake's going to kick the Edomites' ass here in America land. That's going to happen. So let's let this play and kind of get some details of what they're saying.
When you see these troop movements, so we see the gunship, the Coast Guard gunship, how much bigger do you think it's going to get from there? Are we talking thousands of American forces, UN peacekeeping forces under the auspices of peacekeeping? Where do you see and how big do you think that this will get?
Well, the U.S. would love to have the UN deploy, so-called peacekeepers as it did in previous occupations, but Russia and China have essentially, they will block that because it's not.
You see, and it's always some shit, about the Israelites. You know, they put all this other shit out here to distract you, and then they making a move on Israel somewhere. You know, but that shit's gonna come to an end. You know, our Lord's about to make a move on them.
Not the Russia and China of 2003, 2004 that were much more willing to go along with U.S. machinations. So the U.S. is looking for another way to do it. There's talk about through the Organization of American States, which is really just a tool of the United States, and the U.S.'s other plot is through the Global Fragility Act, which is a 2019 piece of legislation that basically calls for military special operations to go into so-called fragile countries like Haiti, being the test case for this legislation, and carry out what they call small footprint operations. Hit squads, black ops, covert ops.
Hit squads. They're trying to bring the hit squads out, and it's bullshit because they really just want to go over there, control them, and then introduce that potato chip, which we already know. That's coming. This is Isaiah chapter 13, right? Verse 14 says, "And it shall be as a chase roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land." Right? And this also goes into, so Israelites are going to turn into Israelites. Everybody's going to flee to their own people. That's why the house of Joseph and the house of Judah is going to come together. The house of Israel is going to all come together. That's prophesying Ezekiel 37 too, Jeremiah 50, right? But, they want to send hit squads over there, but that's a part of Revelations 12. The devil coming down upon you. Why is he making these moves and doing these things? Because he know that his time is short. He's having a hard time. I got another video coming with the relationships between U.S. and Saudi Arabia. It's not looking too good, man. It's on shaky legs. A lot of those European countries are talking about switching sides, man. Russia and China are already allies. It's not looking too good for them, man. And they finna be found out, pretty much to not be as big and bad as they say they are. They finna be tested. But they always want to come down, so they got to rush this thing and make their moves. And who you think they going to come down on? The Israelites, man. It says, verse 15, it says, "Everyone that is found shall be thrusted through, and everyone that is joined to them shall fall by the sword." Why? Because Jake going to raise hell in Mystery Babylon, man. It says, "Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished." Who you think going to be doing that shit, man? Didn't it just say that Jake was going to be a flame in the fire in the house of Esau for stumble? That's going to happen. And these other troops and stuff are going to come over here too.
So the U.S. wants to have as small of a footprint as possible so it doesn't, get these mass protests against them, because the U.S. knows that foreign intervention is extremely unpopular in Haiti. That's why they're going with, this whole Haitian-led mantra of the Montana Accord. That's why they're saying, it's humanitarian intervention, and the U.S. is desperate for its puppets to be effective, so it's not at the forefront. So I think last resort is that the U.S. deploys a significant amount of its own troops. It's really looking for a proxy to do the job.
As always, exactly. A couple of more questions I had for you. One, the cynical nature of me, knowing these politicians and knowing the elites who in Washington and New York and so forth in the financial sector, who love going down to the Dominican Republic, and they love buying up beachfront property there. They love the resorts, the all-inclusive resorts in the Dominican Republic and so forth. So what sort of a humanitarian crisis are we seeing that could potentially or is already spilling over into the Dominican Republic, and specifically into the areas where these Washington elites would have a problem going on vacation?
Yeah, there is a humanitarian crisis in Haiti. A huge amount of migration coming into the Dominican Republic, and the Dominican leadership, after meeting with Kamala Harris and Samantha Power and a bunch of top figures in Congress, they deployed military assets to the border with Haiti because, of course, they share an island. And the president of the Dominican Republic and his top diplomat have called for military intervention in Haiti to put down this uprising, to, like you said, an invasion to put down this uprising.
To put down this uprising. See, so they're already being a fucking flame and fire, and Esau shit is becoming stumble, and they want to do something for it. Like he said, they want to be able to have their beachfront resorts and shit like that, and just live that rich life. But they can't do it because Jake is giving them hell. And Haiti is known for that. The Levites are known for that, of getting shit popping. So I just think that it's gonna spill over into the U.S. and that's gonna be a fulfillment of prophecy, and it's gonna get shit popping over here into the U.S. The Haitians, they get busy, and they kind of tend to put a battery in Judah's back to wake up. And it says that old lion's gonna raise up, roughly paraphrasing. And then with Judah, he the one that should gather all the nations, all the tribes. And then the rest of the tribes start to follow after whatever Judah's doing. So it could spill over, and the next thing you know, you could have the boys with the badges getting green light in the street, if you hear what I'm saying. This is second Esdras chapter 15 verse 14, which goes right into this. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And this is a fulfillment of prophecy going all the way back to Jacob and Esau in the womb. You got two, behold, she had two nations in her womb, and one should be stronger than the other, which the Israelites are stronger than the Edomites. Clearly, right? Verse 16 says, for there should be sedition among men. This is gonna cause sedition and evading one another. So they talking about evading them. This shit gonna spill off over into the U.S. because there's a lot of Haitians, especially down southern, that's down there in the southern parts of the U.S. And you think they not gonna feel away when they island and they people are getting evaded? They gonna feel away, man. It says they should not regard their kings nor their princes, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man should desire to go into a city and should not be able. For because of their pride, the city should be troubled, and the houses should be destroyed, and the man should be afraid. The city should be troubled. Why? Because Jake gonna get a cities all hell, man. You gonna see whole cities and shit that's taken over and ran over by Jake, man, by the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and that's including the Haitians as a part of that. You're gonna see that. So that's Bible prophecy. So look out for that. Esau, his time's coming. He's losing his grip, and we seen it happen. Like I said, don't be surprised if you start seeing green lights on the boys with the badges. With that, I'm gonna say salvation to the elect.